Imagine that one day you woke up completely paralyzed, unable to move or speak, unable to scratch your nose when it's itchy, unable to speak to your loved ones. This frightening thought experiment is the reality for hundreds of thousands of people around the world with brain injuries or diseases like ALS. The inability to communicate strips these people and their loved ones of quality of life and independence. In this project, we restored the ability to naturalistically communicate to a man with ALS, enabling him to have fluent conversations with his family and friends for the first time in years. He was even able to speak to his daughter, who's never really had a conversation with her dad before due to his ALS. My name is Nick Card, and I'm a neural engineer trying to restore the ability to communicate to people with anarthria. My approach is centered around developing a brain-computer interface that can read out a person's intended speech directly from their brain. By recording signals from inside the brain, we can bypass the injured or degraded neural pathways that would normally control facial muscles to generate speech. Using this technology, I can record brain signals while a person attempts to speak, decipher the words that they're trying to say, and then play those words aloud using a text-to-speech tool that's been programmed to sound like their own real voice. A person with anarthria could use this device to communicate naturalistically and quickly simply by attempting to speak. Our research group at the UC Davis Neuroprosthetics Lab is part of a clinical trial in which people with brain injuries or diseases volunteer to have recording devices implanted into their brain. These devices record high-quality neural signal from hundreds of individual neurons, which is essential to decoding speech quickly and accurately. So our group is well poised to create a brain-computer interface to restore communication to people with anarthria. In fact, we've already done it. Our research group has recruited a clinical trial participant, T15, who's a 45-year-old man with ALS. T15's speech is almost completely unintelligible as a consequence of his disease. We implanted 4 microelectrode recording arrays into his speech motor cortex, which is a part of the brain responsible for controlling the facial muscles that generate speech. In our first ever research session with T15, we recorded his brain signals as he attempted to say prompted sentences. These sentences drew from a vocabulary of 50 clinically relevant words. Next, I used a machine learning algorithm to identify the relationship between his brain signals and the words that he was trying to say. Finally, I used this same algorithm to predict the words that he was trying to say in new prompted sentences. Predicted words appeared on screen in front of T15 as he attempted to say them, and at the end of a sentence, they were read aloud by a text-to-speech tool that we programmed to sound like his own real pre-ALS voice. With this 50-word vocabulary in this first ever research session, we were able to decode what T15 was trying to say with over 99% accuracy. This accuracy was so good that in the second research session, we expanded the vocabulary from just 50 words to over 125,000 words, which encompasses most of the English language. With this greatly expanded vocabulary, we were still able to decode what T15 was trying to say with over 90% accuracy. And at the end of the research session, he used the brain-computer interface to speak with his family. For the first time since his ALS diagnosis, he asked his daughter how her day was and told her that he was so excited to continue talking to her. Since this second research session, we've continued to collect data and optimize our speech decoding pipeline. We can now decode what T15 is trying to say with over 98% accuracy, which significantly outpaces previous speech neuroprostheses and is even better than the accuracy of state-of-the-art voice dictation programs like Siri. T15 continues to use the brain-computer interface to speak to his colleagues, family, and friends multiple times per week. Our brain-computer interface has restored T15's ability to have deep, meaningful conversations with those around him and has enhanced both his quality of life and his independence. I believe that this technology represents a turning point in restoring the ability to communicate to people who've lost it due to brain injuries or diseases. Speech neuroprostheses may soon be a realistic and viable option for restoring naturalistic communication to people with anarthria.